See if that does it. Go to my calendar, it's in there. All right. You should disconnect from this. Put yourself in here. Hey, Scott. Hey, Noel.
Hello.
Hello.
Is it Noel? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Do that sometimes. If you guys want, you guys can go ahead and mute yourselves. You don't have to be on camera either. For this, I'll have a few other people I'm sure that will join. But I'm going to welcome you guys to Hands-On HubSpot with Paragon. I'm Davey. I'm the CEO. I'm going to go over the most recent and latest updates with HubSpot that have occurred in the last like 30 days. There's a lot in here. We're going to try to keep this a half hour, even though we block an hour. That way I can answer questions, or if things go over, I have a little bit of a leeway. But I'm going to hit on a number of high-level items. There's actually been close to 100 updates since like the beginning of the year. And I'd say in the last month, there's probably been about 30 or 40. We are not going to hit all of them. Some of them are really small little updates, and you can look those things up. And HubSpot's constantly trying to highlight it. So I'm going to share my page real quick with you guys first. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat, and I have somebody on my team monitoring. They'll let me know. Or you can always just kind of raise your hand, and they'll let me know when you're wanting to see it. So, but I'm going to go ahead and change screens here. Jump over and start with our first item. I'm actually going to, let's go back over here. I want to just talk about updates in general first. I do this at the beginning of every meeting just because I think it's important. By the way, if you're seeing that mine looks way different, my HubSpot looks way different than yours, start using the new navigation. Start adding things in like ChatSpot. Will really help you out. You can see the ChatSpot AI is right here when you click down on your menu. One thing that may be confusing too is if you see business units here, if you are working, and if you just have a single account with a single business, you're fine. But if you do have business units, then it allows you to segment what you're looking at within the account based on the business unit. So if you like contacts that are associated with the business unit, so on and so forth. But what I want to show is product updates. Product updates right now, if you want, you can plug it in and share so everybody can see. With this, when you come in here, you'll see that spotlight. This will take you to another page that goes through all of the updates recently in 2024. It's pretty powerful. I'll tell you about everything from service, content, commerce, and walk you through all the different items that have been coming on recently in HubSpot. But on the product update level, this is where you can find out what's live right now. So you can actually see that activity totals card, sync Microsoft Teams, do requirements for app certification, managing approvals on mobile, compare permissions, deal velocity, contact lifecycle stage velocity on stage, tracker cards. These are out and live. You didn't have to do anything to get them. Beta is where you can actually see what is out that you might want to request and get. So this one here for view record access is specific about enable you to drop down of actions within a CRM record. In the future, you can see what users have access to specific records, what access they have, and what are the owners of the record, and what is the change history of those owners. So this just gives you more history. This is more around security than anything else. And so you can turn that beta on if you don't already and go into it. Sometimes you'll see things on my screen that say like request beta. We do have access to a lot of private betas, so there may be things on here that we get access to that you may not. So don't be afraid, they will come out to you just at a later date. So I like to show that to people just so they know how do we get some of these new features. Because if all of a sudden I show something today and you're like, I don't have that on my account, either one, you don't have access to it because you need a different permission level, or two, it's in beta and you just need to turn the beta on. So, all right, let's start with our first update that we're gonna look at today. This is a new improvement for social listening. And so I set this up so that I've connected a LinkedIn account to our test account, and I can actually listen for mentions and reposts, competitors' posts, and keyword streams. So I'm gonna set up stream. and I'm going to look for mentions and reposts that are going on, and maybe keywords that I'm looking for within this. So I'll go ahead and hit next. Oh, let's just do mentions and repost. Hit next. So the stream name, cool stuff. Network is going to be LinkedIn, and then the interaction is going to be mentions, and select account. I'm going to choose my Paragon account, and then give me an email notification at 8 a.m. and notify me of any of these notifications. So hit save, and now it's going to start looking for those mentions. So I am under, when we go to marketing, we go to social, we go to monitor. This is where I'm getting those conversations and those mentions. So I come here and I can see where any of those mentions are. Pretty cool to be able to have social listening now within the platform. This is something that's been around with a lot of other companies, but to have it in HubSpot now, pretty powerful, especially when you're looking for keywords. So for a business like mine, I can listen for keywords like HubSpot and get a notification every day of all the posts around HubSpot. Pretty awesome, blossom. Okay, next item on here. So HubSpot has this new content tool, and within it, I'm gonna, we won't back out because it's already created. Within this, when I went into my settings under my blogs, and I can actually create narration of my blog. So, and I can add this narration. I don't have it set up right now, but I have to add in a little block on my blog template for where narration goes. But we'll take this narration. Hopefully you guys can hear that. But it's actually used AI and created this this narration, and then I can take that and I can add it within the blog post. And I have to set up in my design manager to actually have it in, and I haven't done that yet. But what it does is it takes the, go out real quick. I've got this blog post about building cardboard boxes for forts. I had this written by AI, by the way, too, and this image is created by AI. So, I mean, I think the kid has 5 fingers and 5 toes, so hopefully nobody will know. But up in the settings, I can do a post narration, and that's where it then allows me to generate. I can add in some descriptions, and I can generate this post narration, and that's where I was able to generate that narration voice. And what it does is just reads what's in the post. 2 ways that you can use this where it's powerful. One, by putting it into the body, and then so you can just sit and listen to your blog post. Or if you want to use it in podcast, you can use it in a podcast as well, because it will save this later on into a file format that you can access later. Pretty cool tool. Any questions about that? Please ping us and my team will let me know. All right. So some other stuff. We talked about social earlier. I don't have LinkedIn Navigator, so I can't really show the full scale of this, but I'm going to give you a sense of what it is. So this is a new app. So you go into the marketplace, app marketplace, type in LinkedIn in your search, look for the LinkedIn CRM sync. This is actually a really powerful integration that has been created by HubSpot and LinkedIn. HubSpot's one of the few CRMs that has access to this. And that is the fact that you can actually connect the data from within HubSpot and from LinkedIn and log to the CRM. So in this case, this is like a message that you're sending. You can actually log that to the CRM as a message from LinkedIn. And then you can go, you can gather data from other sources and pull that data in if you've got them connected in LinkedIn into HubSpot if you're like an account owner. So it allows you to add accounts within the system and create a record in HubSpot as a lead. This is cool if you are definitely using LinkedIn Navigator and you're trying to figure out how to update information about certain records from LinkedIn. Super, super, super powerful. This is not to be confused that you can send messages via HubSpot into LinkedIn, but that you can actually capture messages you're doing in LinkedIn. Really cool agreement that they have with one another and the feature set that it's able to do. So, okay. Moving on. Properties. Oh, yes. So lead properties. So in the past, we may have mentioned this in our last update that we did. You can now come in and create properties specific for the lead properties. So lead properties is an object that sits on contacts, and you'll usually use it in the workspace for prospecting. And when you're using the prospecting space for leads, and you've got data here, I'm looking at, John's FormPay, the data that was about the lead in general, you can create your own fields that are now going to show up and be able to track maybe certain information specific about the lead. And you can now go in and create those, and you can even require certain fields that are associated with it. So now I can go in and create my own properties within leads. You say, that's cool, Davey, but what would I create as a lead property? To be specific, I mean, it could be like lead type. It could be certain statuses that you track. Maybe it's interest for the lead, and then be able to transfer that over to the contact later. Let's go look at the next item. Podcast. So I talked to you about creating that recording. You do the same thing here. This is now a podcast, I got an RSS feed. I can create an episode. I can upload an existing audio, or I can create from text that I might have. I can choose the voice that I want it in. And oh, this is kind of cool. We'll give you cool. Can somebody give me like a little hand raise? Can you guys hear that when I hit the play button? Noel or Scott? You guys able to hear those test ones? Oh, all right. We'll work on that later. I don't know how to get the sound to play out, but they are different variety of voices. They sound really good. So I'm going to create the episode details. I can say, this is cool stuff. I should have subscribed this episode. This is about cool stuff I write about. And then I can generate some artwork. Cool space stuff. I like space a lot. So I'm going to generate some images here. It goes with my podcast. Not that I need artwork, but you might as well have artwork, right? Make it fancy. The AI, when you're creating images, definitely takes longer than creating text, I've realized, in the system. Even when I'm doing AI and like my ChatGPT and I'm creating images, I've noticed that it takes a little bit of time. And it looks like it's almost there. Come on, Dover. There we go. Oh, I like this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert this in. So I got that artwork, and then it's asking me if I have explicit content. I'm not a big guy for cursing, so I think I'm okay. And it's missing one thing, and it needs episode audio. I have to get some audio. Where's my audio? Back episode audio. Generate audio from text. Oh, do I need to put it in here? This is my stuff. Okay. Generating the full audio of this is my cool stuff. This may take a really long time. There we go. 1 second. Got my artwork, and I can publish the episode. And now I can distribute it. May not work. I can copy my RSS feed and put it out, and I go back to all my episodes, and now I've got a published podcast that I can post, and I can connect it. There's a way to be able to set up settings to be able to auto send it to certain feed areas or podcasts that you normally use. So really powerful tool, especially if you've written a blog post, then you can go and grab the existing audio and just post it in here and use your blog post as podcast. I've highly considered doing this, considering we put out a lot of data and information that I could choose certain blog posts and turn them into podcasts. So every day I could post a new update about HubSpot and what's going on, how you use it. So, okay. This is the new deal score tool, forecasting, I guess, as it were. What this allows you to do, so to add this on, this is a beta that you have to turn on, and then you have to go in and customize the record for the cards. So this is on the default view. I've added in the deal score. And what it is you add a card, and that card is the deal score card. that's listed here. There's also another card that I like. It's in the stage tracker, and you can. Oh wait, no. It's not that one. There's another one. Yeah, no, this is it. This is stage tracker. So to save that, and now I can move this up to the top so we can see it. And then we're going to talk some more about the deal score. So that's the top, save and exit. Go back to our record here. Awesome. So now I can see like how it's progressing in stages for the deals. And I can even move it from certain stages and get it to update within the stage tracker. Let's talk about deal score. So what this is this is taking into account some velocity items about how fast the deal is moving and giving it a score based on that movement to see if it's actually progressing. And it's also giving you an over time scenario. So when things change, it tells you if it's moving up or down in terms of the score trend. And what this is, these are just factors that help to say whether or not you have momentum, velocity, and the ability to potentially close. So we're going to go through some of these factors here. So deal probability and pipeline. So however you set up your deal probability, if it's high, then it gives it a good score, especially when it moves up in probability. Days in the current stage. This one has a negative because it's maybe been in the stage, in a certain stage too long. Now we just changed stages, so this score may change today to a higher score because we've moved it. If there's any activities, are you doing sales calls or emails? So in our activities line, if there's an email that's going out, we'll create one to Laura. Test. Now I'm increasing my activity. Eventually the score will start going up. So probably tomorrow, the score will have some factors that of the items that we've done today, changing the stage and sending an email, that will now drop this score a little bit higher. And so you can see in the last 6 days, it's changing on down by 12 points. Some of the other items are days until close date. So whenever the close date, so how close are we to the close date? If I change the close date out, that may change the factors of this as well. And then days since deal was created. So this has been sitting in here for a while. Again, it's about momentum and velocity. And if you can actually change some of those items in here, then all of a sudden the score will start to refresh in the next day and say, hey, probability of this has actually gone up. And even though we've made changes, it hasn't changed yet. And it probably will later at the end of the day when it recalculates. How often it calculates, I don't know. You can also look at the history of it to see where it was at before. So it was at an 84 back on May 1st. On May 9th, it started going down, started losing momentum, therefore factors came into place. So days in current stage seem to be the biggest factor for that changeover. So you track it one by one. Laura in the room has a question. Go ahead, Laura.
On this, do you have to have a certain level of HubSpot, or can anybody download this data?
I think this beta is available to all. Do we want to see? Deal score. Predicted deal score is in public beta. What is it? What does it matter? Who gets it? Sales Hub Pro and Enterprise. Starter does not get it, and you have to have sales. Great question. Okay. Anything else with that? Any other questions? Okay. Help desk. Okay, so I've been learning more about this help desk workspace. So if you go to workspaces, if you go to help desk, it's new. It'll bring
Hey,
you to
David, I've got a quick question on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
So going back to that, so I just, as you were doing it, I just added that and updated my settings in my demo account, but I'm not seeing the same like ability to bring the deal through a stage. So could you go back to that deal card?
Yeah, let's look at it. I don't know which one I was on, but let's see if we can find one.
Yeah, so that deal stage, okay, so that deal stage tracker is separate from the deal score. That's what I was looking for and missing. Okay.
And I think there is I think there might be a beta for this one too, but they are separate.
Yeah, I turned both of the betas on.
Okay.
Okay, thank
So
you.
this is a separate one. You have to go create a card and then find the deal stage tracker module to add it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, great question. was I looking at? Help desk. Thank you. So the help desk is a combination. Before you'd have to go, you'd have to go look at tickets if you want to see tickets, and then if you went over to the conversations inbox, it was whatever conversations came in. So if you had an email conversation or a call conversation or a form or whatever it was, it would come into that inbox. And then you'd have to convert it to a ticket. So what this is doing now is taking all the conversations and turning them into tickets to triage as you work through it. So you're kind of dealing with all tickets, but you're dealing with it in the conversation inbox automatically and able to go through it and communicate with that conversation inbox. And I think I might have it on a different page, but I'm going to do it here. There's this really like, hello, how are you? You can now highlight text in here. And then all of a sudden this AI assistant turns orange and you're able to change the tone, draft a message, rewrite or expand. And it now has multi-language capability. So check this out. I'm gonna write, hola, como está? So my Spanish is amazing, but HubSpot makes my Spanish so much better. So now when I respond in my limited Spanish, I can do this. Multi-language is awesome. Okay. If nobody else is excited about that, at least know that I'm excited. All right, knowledge base. So I brought this up only to be able to tell you what it can do because I was trying to get it to do it and I don't think I have the beta on or I just don't have the requisite skills. But when you customize the template, they're giving you more design tools that are allowed. So before you'd have to pick a template, change template, but there is now in the actual design tools in the back end, you can actually start changing fonts and colors a lot more than what you have available here right now. So right now you've got like very few accessible items, and the new update, you can actually change a lot of this, like what the navigation looks like, and give it more of a landing page feel, the way that you want to be able to display it. So giving you a lot more features. If you have more questions about that, I would just look up the knowledge base article for knowledge base. Which is going to look really funny when you look HubSpot knowledge base article on knowledge base. So, and then you'll be able to go in and adjust it. Okay. Ooh, AI chatbot. If it doesn't work for me on here, I'm going to go back to my other portal. But this is a pretty amazing tool that I think people get scared about because, like, what if the AI messes up? I think the AI is pretty powerful. It knows if it's not able to give a confident answer. So we're going to go to setup now. I got to pick a source for it. So I'm going to say it's my help center and content from the URL. And then I can even use a different URL if I want that's associated with it for other content that might be used for it. So maybe I have like some hidden pages or a page with a bunch of content. Maybe it's my privacy practice URL that I want to add in. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And these are the, let's see, connected to a live chat. So I'm going to put it to the KB test one. And let's do actually new chat flow. Help desk. We'll do KB. It's asking like what the message should be. If the I can't answer, then send it to Perry. Sign to live chat. Boom. Here we are. So now I can preview this and I can start talking about it. Now my problem is I need to know what articles I have. So I have a ladder system where there's so many songs about rainbows. Let's try this out. Do you know anything about rainbows? We have a very limited thing in here. And it's now thinking rainbows have been around for a long time. Are there songs? I'm not actually sure. So this is what it will give you if it doesn't know what you're talking about. So the better your KB articles are, the better this is going to be able to respond. When it doesn't know, it gives you the option to transfer an agent, but it actually still gives you the option of responding and writing messages. So let's see if I've got any Pizza delivery. Okay, let's try this one real quick. Sorry, I figured you guys would want best pizza delivery company. There you go. Papa John's is the best pizza delivery service. So it's reading all the articles. How cool is that? Papa John's, one of my favorites. It's the only reason there's an article about it. So the chat bot is available, I think, at a certain level, probably a pro or higher. And it depends on what tools you have, but it's definitely worth setting up, connected to a knowledge base or certain pages where any of that information is located. Test it out. Try poking questions at it. Usually it'll come back and say, it's not sure. Do you want an agent? Which is really what you want. You want to answer as many questions as possible with the AI. Ours is set up so people can ask about like our packages and how they work with us. We haven't published it yet because I'm still putting some articles into it, but it kind of can act as a sales agent when they're talking with people, which is great. What that does is it diffuses issues before it comes to a help desk, or before, you know, people that are just kicking the tires can ask questions before they have to talk with a real agent. So gives them that opportunity. So really cool tool. Ooh, IVR. Okay, it took me a little bit to get to this. I'm not going to talk you through the whole process, but it is in the, you can find it under calling in the settings. So if you go to settings, go to calling, and you'll find the interactive voice, whatever it is that IVR stands for. I always forget. And then you can set it up. And then what this does is it allows you to, you pick a number that you have already associated with HubSpot. So it has to be a HubSpot number. And then allows you to choose IVR. So certain keypad items and voicemails that you can leave on here. And then who you want it sent to. So if they press 0, who does it actually get sent to? And I can say, I want it to go to Alex. And then I have a default voicemail. And then I can actually create other items with it as well, save it, and now if they press 0, they get sent to Alex, which is probably true. Alex always needs to get all to 0. I need the operator. I need the operator.
So cool.
Yeah.
So this would be anyone who doesn't already have a phone system integrated with HubSpot.
It's when you're using HubSpot's phone system. So you have an inbound number, and now you can have that inbound number route to certain people. So. Okay, so we talked about adding some cards. So the center console, I kind of showed the center console a little bit earlier. And this allows you, oh, this one actually, no, this is different. Let's exit this real quick. This is actually really cool. This is the preview customization. So when you're on a record, let's just go back to something real quick. And we go to contacts. When you click the little preview and it pulls up on the side, a lot of times this information, this about this contact or whatever these other associations don't really fit the bill for what you want to see. You're like, I don't need to see that. So you can actually customize what's actually being seen and the order that it's being seen. How cool is that? So I say, hey, look, I don't want to see contacts or companies or tickets when I hit the preview, and it will then take those off when you're clicking that preview button, so you can see certain sections that would be relevant to you. A little bit easier, gives you more access within that. So, and then even within this, we can edit this, and I can choose decide which property should appear on this card when I'm actually showing this card, which is kind of cool. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. We already showed that. One more here. I think this is going back to where we're at. I think that's all I had. I'll look at that a half hour. I'm pretty awesome. So I kind of know, I think. Let me see if there's, I have a list of a few other things. If you guys will bear with me. So let me just check real quick. Noel and Scott. Oh, and John's on with us. Hey, John. We have a couple of other items on here. If you guys want to bear with me, I can show them to you. I'm going to list off what I have, and then we'll see what gets the most votes, and then you guys can deal with me trying to figure it out. So I don't have them set up yet, but we can take a look at them. Oh, you know what? I did have one. Yeah, actually, let me go back. I have one that I do want to show. Let's go back to, let's go to Davey. Here we go. Let's go to Davey here real quick. And I just wanted to show invoices. So I also said a lot with invoices. If you guys haven't used it as a tool, it's pretty awesome. And in the case, I use the word awesome a lot, apparently. You can create an invoice that then gets sent out and you can receive payment via HubSpot. What's really interesting that's new in creating an invoice is that you have this little line item here called partial payments. So what they can do is pay with like multiple credit cards or multiple payment options when they're doing it. And then there is a new beta that's out. I couldn't get it to work as part of this showing that'll allow you to go back in and edit the invoice, kind of recall it, and make adjustments to the line items. Right now, you're unable to, but there is a beta that's out. I think maybe I requested it and haven't gotten access to it yet. So, okay, that one I knew. All right, so here are the options. Gauge comparison. So it's a gauge is a chart element, but you can compare to a previous period. Storing sensitive data, building workflows with AI, and then record attachments is another one. Showing some new stuff with record attachments. I could show you a property sync, so how to sync one property to another area, and the customer success workspace. Do any of those sound like something you guys want to hear? Go ahead and put it in the chat, and I will show you one of those before we jet off today. Property sync, says Noel. Let's do it. And all right. And John wants to see private data. All right, I think we can tackle both of those. Let's do it. Okay, so property sync. Property sync, when you're creating a property sync, what you're actually doing is you're picking an object. So for example, let's go over to company real quick. In company, I have the about us. And I want to be able to see the about us on the contact. So it doesn't let me update it on the contact, but I want to see the company about us on the contact. So I'm actually going to go over to the contact record. I'm going to create this property now, and I'm going to pick a group. I'm going to say company about us. That way I know what it is. And I'm going to pick a field type, and the field type is going to actually be the property sync field type. Now the source record for it is the company itself, and I'm going to use that about us. And then I want all the association labels. So it doesn't matter what they are, like if it's the primary, secondary, or I can select a certain association. In this case, I will probably just pick the primary because that's a little bit easier. But you have other options as well. So for example, if I was copying something from a contact to a deal record, it would probably be a contact that's associated with the deal, or maybe a specific type of association. So maybe it's the leader or the point of contact to pull that information over. So I'm going to create this field. I now have this new field, and now I can go over to my, I can go over to a contact, and we're not going to add it to the record, but we'll take a look at it. I'm going to go over to Josh. Does Josh have a company? He does. Let's find somebody who's an actual company that would have like an about us associated with it. Oh, the Adobe one would be nice. Okay, so there's Paragon, and I'm now going to view all properties, and I'm going to look for the company about us, and you'll notice there's no data there, but it is technically, you'll notice I can't edit it either because it's copying from the company about us. So let's actually make this relevant. So let's go over to Paragon, and let's go look at the about us. There's a description. Let's go look for that property. Oh my gosh, it's there, and then I use this here. We are one cool company. It's, okay, and I click save here. And now when I go over to that contact, go back over to, let's go over to John, let's go back over to Davey. And now if I look at the, and it pulls it right over. Did that help you, Noel? Did that make sense? Do I need to go back to anything? on that?
No, that's great. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, John, you want to see sensitive data? My social security number is not going to be listed. Actually, let's talk about that real quick. So sensitive data is going to be under privacy and consent. And you're going to see sensitive data protection beta. So this setting is off. I accept the terms and I can turn on sensitive data settings. And I'm not going to go too in depth on this, but I just want to talk about what you can put in. So now, to get started, read and accept the terms and conditions of the insurance sensitive data. Go to the properties, creating sensitive data properties. So we'll go over to some properties here. But a couple things I want to point out here. So you can put in driver's license numbers, you can put in a passport number, but you shouldn't put in a social security number yet. I know HubSpot's working on a lot of different things. I don't know when or where or if it'll come out, but I'm hoping in the future we might see some stuff with that. So now I actually, go ahead.
I was going to say I had a very deep dive with this beta item, with my PDM who had to escalate up to the legal department. They're expecting in Q4 to release the ability to store the level of data like social security numbers.
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but you're saying that, that's great. I'm not, I'll say this, I'm not surprised. So news, and let's see, let's put in, we'll put in driver's license. Thank you, Noel. It came from your mouth, not mine. So
I'll take that. It came from my PDM's mouth, not mine.
there you go. So this is something new where now you'll notice that when I created the property, it gives me an option now to say, is this sensitive? Needs protection, but can be used in most tools and doesn't need to be masked. So I can say, who should have access to view? And I can say everyone or super admins only. I'm sure this will adjust to specific users later. And now I can select the field type and I can say, where's my number field? And I don't want it to be formatted. And can I, yeah. And then show search results, set max value of like 10, set a minimum value of, what are they normally, 7 or 8 numbers? Unless you're from Florida, is it like 1,000?
It's long. It's like 15.
Cool, so now I have driver's license on here. And so now when I go to, let's go to contacts, Mr. Josh Beatty, we'll view all properties. So sensitive data, you can't use social security, don't use credit card numbers or like debit card numbers, account numbers, and any HIPAA related items are not part of sensitive data right now. I would actually look up what sensitive data means before you just start assuming and putting stuff in, because you can't put yourself at risk. So now you put in a driver's license of whatever it may be. That might be too long. Let's do that. Oh, it is too long. Why does it keep saying it's over 10?
Oh, it's no more than 10. So I think it can only be like 10 or lower.
Like, is it adding the numbers
I
together?
think so. It seems like with the errors.
Well, it doesn't give me a save.
No, try 9, just 9 by itself.
Yeah, it's like
It's
adding the
adding the
numbers together.
I'll have to check that out later. Okay, we'll go ahead and save this. It's a very secure driver's license number. Okay, so now I've got driver's license number. It doesn't really change anything on the view here. It's not masking anything, but if I didn't have view to access, it would have driver's license there and it would have it cleared out or have like the eye that's all fuzzy so you can't actually view it. It's similar to other permissions that you have in HubSpot, except for you're actually deeming this as sensitive data and limiting to the groups versus looking at individuals that are associated with it. John, what other questions do you have about sensitive data?
Honestly, I think that I just wanted to see how it works. So that was great. Thank you.
Kinda cool, huh? Okay. All right, folks. Any other questions? Noel?
No, this has been great. Thank you.
Awesome. Guys, there are a ton more updates. I don't ever have enough time to go through. I can usually get around 20 updates in a meeting like this because I don't want to over inundate people, and there's a lot to learn. And I'm trying to learn them at the same time because they come out pretty quickly. There are some really cool updates and betas that just came out this last week that I've been waiting to play with. One thing that's actually really cool, John, you might like this, and Noel, is it came out secretly. We didn't see it as like a beta or an announcement, but you can now choose the association, not the association, but the object relationship to be one-to-one or one-to-many, whereas before it was always many-to-many. So now I can take something and say, this company there's only one company to these objects, maybe it's locations. And so you have like locations, and the locations can only have one company they're connected to, but a company can have multiple locations. Whereas before, a location could have multiple companies that it was related to. And so you'd have to be really, very specific on how you're using it. Now you can actually specify it in that relationship.
Do you have an example of that?
Like in the system, I can pull up. The best place to do it is actually go to reporting and data and go to your data model. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Oh, we're showing too much here. Let's get to this. So tickets right now, you can see this association is one-to-many, 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 one-to-many. And then I have some custom objects here, and I can have addresses in there, one-to-many, 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 or it's a many-to-many relationship. Now let's go into the one of these objects that we have, and I've got a good example, I'm pretty sure. Let's go to custom objects. And we're talking about custom objects specifically. Sorry to clarify. So let's say for us, we do this thing with projects, and let's look at project task. And let's look at the associations. And then you'll see configure association limit. And so now I can say, okay, let's make sure that I'm on the right one. I've noticed that I have to, so project task to hours. I'm going to look at project tasks to projects. And I can, so you have to pick the specific item that you're talking about in the relationship, because project task is related to multiple objects, right? Then I choose the association limit, and I can say project tasks to projects is custom, or is, so you can have many, right now it's many projects. I can say only one project, but a project can have many project tasks. And so it shows me down here what that relationship looks like. And now I can save this. And now when I go to a, let's go to a task. Whoa. Notice it has one project. You'll notice that I cannot add it because it's reached its limit. And if we look at the data model now, and I go look at project task, you'll see this right here. It can only have one. If I click on projects, it can have many project tasks. You can see, and now it shows you the dependency here. Does that help, Noel?
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Pretty cool, huh? And this actually helps you to make sure that like your data, this is really helping with data management so that people aren't accidentally adding more than they should in the relationship, especially when you're using custom objects. So, John, did you know about that? Were you aware of that?
Yes, I think I had seen it. So, but no, it's a good reminder.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I think that's our time for today. Hope this was enjoyable for you. We'll be posting it later, and there'll be other updates. I'm going to be posting a lot more on our blog with some of the other updates as we catch up with them. But keep up on that product update sheet or in the product update in HubSpot as stuff comes out. And Noel, keep an eye out next month.
Thanks.
So, all right, folks. Well, thanks so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.
Here.